Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time of the day it is in your particular part of the world. And I'm back once again with another pick a card reading. This reading is going to be advice from your inner divine masculine. We've done the divine diva. This is what your inner masculine most wants you to know. So pick a pile. We have the King of Roses, the King of Wands, and the King of Earth. Whichever masculine you're drawn to, choose your pile and I shall meet you at your reading. Hello, pile number 1 at 101. If you chose this King of Roses, then this is your reading. Okay, this has been thrown together really quickly. No, the reading hasn't been thrown together really quickly. The positioning and the desire to get this out and done today. You might notice that the lighting isn't as good. I just cannot, in this old house in France, make the plug sockets for the ring light reach to where I need them to go. So, here we are. I'm going to talk about your king and perhaps why you've been drawn to him last of all. I'll talk about him first. Okay, you've been drawn to the King of Roses or the King of Cups, an incredibly romantic king. He's wandering in a garden full of yellow roses, which are roses for friendship. He's picked some roses which he appears to be gazing at intently, red and yellow. So I think your inner masculine, your divine masculine, is really asking you to love yourself and nurture yourself at the moment. He does pop out in a love reading, so maybe your inner masculine is actively looking for some love. Your first card is the chess game, the 3 of Keys. Okay, I don't like this card. It's not a pleasant card. It is about game playing. The advice from your inner masculine is not to game play or surround yourself with others who play games with you, because you cannot win. Your next card is the 8 of Forces, the lightning bolt. Now this is the equivalent of the Tower. The lightning has struck a tree and it's going to destroy the tree. But Spirit's saying, don't be afraid, let this tower come and build back bigger and better. This tower moment needs to happen. Your next card is the Lookout. This is a warning. As you can see, the tree was on fire in the previous card. This ship's rigging, and in fact the hull of the ship has been hit by a cannonball. We've got somebody with binoculars up in the crow's nest, looking out for and being alert for danger. I think you know that this tower moment is happening. And looking at the following cards, it's not a bad tower moment, I think. I think what you're on the lookout for, because when this man appears, we read the next card. And this is what you need to be on the lookout for. This isn't a bad tower moment. I think your divine masculine is warning you, preparing you to get ready, because love, or a spiritual contract actually, but love I'm seeing love is going to happen very suddenly, like a bolt out of the blue. Look, it is blue as well, like a bolt out of the blue. So the next card that the lookout is looking at is the One of Roses, Cups, so Ace of Cups possibly, and this commitment card which keeps coming out. It's surrounded by rose petals. It looks like a romantic commitment, doesn't it? A romantic contract, possibly marriage. I think you could possibly be wary of falling in love because you've been surrounded by game players in the past. I think your divine masculine is telling you it's okay, divine feminine, not to be frightened. New love is going to come in very suddenly and hit you like a bolt out of the blue, and you will be frightened, you'll be on the lookout, you'll be wary. I think your divine masculine is asking you not to be, is asking you to remember all the inner work that you've done. You won't accept a game player, you're not a game player. And I think the person that comes in will be significant. And can you see, I talked about your King of Roses in his hands. It's really tiny, even for me to see with the naked eye, holding the yellow rose of friendship and the red rose for passion. And here we have pink, so pink for the heart chakra and yellow roses scattered. And there is a red rose here. Wow. So be on the lookout for love, because I think it's going to strike suddenly. And your divine masculine wants you to know that, like this Buddha, you have prepared for this, because I've said it earlier on in this reading. You've gone inside, you've done the inner work, you are prepared, you are ready for this. And your final card, the bird's nest. Look, nesting, family. We've got an adult bird. So it's springtime, time of fresh starts. For some of you, this butterfly up here, Spirit's telling me, will be significant. And we appear to have an adult bird, not necessarily the mother, because father birds nurture and bring worms too. But there are 3 fledglings which are being fed in the nest. Plan number 1, little bird, it's time to spread those wings, those metaphoric wings, wide open, and to welcome in your divine masculine. And I think your divine masculine will be this sort of knight in shining armour, romantic person. Pile number 1, I did not expect that to happen. It's short. There's nothing more I can say. Brightest blessings, pile number 1. If you enjoyed this reading, please share it amongst your friends. Give it a like, leave me a comment, and if you're not already, I hope you'll consider subscribing. Brightest blessings to you, pile number 1. 9 minutes exactly, we seem to be on the money today. Hello, pile 2. If you chose this Fire King, the King of Wands, then this is your reading. Back to front reading. Left-handed upside down, Melanie. That's better, that's right. Okay, these cards have been on the table for over a month. I intended to do this reading about a month ago. Right, let's talk about your inner masculine, the masculine that you chose. So he's fiery, he's passionate, he is striding forward in action. So there's going to be something about getting into action in this read. In fact, having seen that you've got 3 major arcana cards and my pre-magician. Okay, your divine masculine wants to tell you to get ready for some pretty big transmutations, pretty big upgrades. Your first card is the Six of Wands. It's a card of victory. There, your masculine is standing in quite a deep, dark valley, surrounded by standing stones, raising a very tattered flag of victory and roaring victory to the heavens. And above him, we've got all, on one side we have all the seers, on the other side all the warriors, and they are all celebrating this victory that you have achieved. So I think you've been to a dark place and done some pretty heavy inner work. And I think your spirit team, I think your divine masculine, I think probably everyone you're surrounded with is celebrating this victory, because it's hard won. It's been a hard won victory. Directly underneath the King of Wands, no, I'll save that till later. Your next card is the Ten of Swords, and I think apart from perhaps the Tower, which doesn't necessarily need to be shocking in a bad way, but this card, it is about as bad as it can get. It's the Ten of Swords. There are no humans on here, no bodies. I suspect they're long gone. But what we can see are the 10 swords which have been thrown at you, cast at you. This is about being backstabbed, feeling totally and utterly down and out. I think this is my spiritual pile, because next we've got the Moon and High Priestess. As I've said, we've got my Pre-Magician card, and then we've got the World. This is what I mean about get ready for some pretty big upgrades. I feel that you are being called. Your divine masculine is here to tell you you're being called to be a spiritual warrior, to hold the light. Can you see here we've got 2 warriors, one in white, one in black, fighting for this rose, which, yes, you can see, under the light of the moon. Okay. Wrong side of the moon. I would say in roughly a fortnight, 2 weeks from whenever you see this reading, at the point where the moon is waxing. So we're approaching a new moon. When the moon is in the crescent after the new moon, so roughly a fortnight's time, I think you will really be stepping into your power. You have the High Priestess. So this is divine feminine wisdom. So I think your divine masculine is asking you to understand that you're a spiritual warrior, but yin and yang, you have to hold your feminine energy as well as your masculine energy. These need to be in balance for what's to come. Here's my Pre-Magician card. We've got another seeker, another seer, standing on the cliffs, raising his arms, raising his staff, calling down the power. And this character here is literally blinded by his light and his power. Your divine masculine wants you to know that you embody this power, that you will be embodying this power, and you will be called. You'll be called to fight. And finishing up your reading, you've got the world. Look at this God. Look at him. He's half morphed into the world. We've got trees and greenery growing around him. And right down here are some tiny, tiny little people. This is powerful. The world is the end of the fool's journey. It's the closing out of a cycle. You're going to be doing some pretty intense spiritual work. Pile number 2, your king is here today, your King of Wands, your divine masculine, to ask you to do the inner work, to prepare and ready yourself. You're going to be victorious. There has been a battle. You are going to be called one more big push, one more big battle. Don't forget that you are the magician and the high priestess. Whoever is drawn to this reading in my group 2s, you are powerful, and you will know that this is your reading if you know what I'm talking about transmuting darkness, about holding the light, about being a spiritual warrior. You're closing out a cycle. And as I said that, I'm looking up here, and we have both the sun and the moon. And look at the tiny crescent bit of the moon. Pile number 2, I salute you and I thank you for being here and for the work that you're doing on behalf of humanity. Brightest blessings to you, pile 2. If this reading resonated for you in any way, I hope you'll consider sharing amongst your friends, subscribing if you're not already. Please give me a like. I'd love to hear from you, spiritual badasses, pile 2. Brightest blessings to you. Pile number 3. Not quite 18 minutes, but we're virtually there. If you chose this king, King of Earth or King of Pentacles, this is your reading. Okay, we'll start with your king. He looks so wise and grounded, doesn't he? With his crown with antlers on. Just such a face of wisdom and compassion. I think your divine masculine, your inner masculine, is here in some kind of a fatherly or grandfatherly the word's gone. Fashion, that's right. Capacity, that's the word I want. Your divine your inner masculine, divine inner masculine is coming through as this wise, solid, grounded, very caring, nurturing, wise person. Okay. The 10 of Fire or the 10 of Wands. Heavy burden needs to be put down. I love this card. She is so beautiful and magical. And look, she's juggling all of this flame. But if you look carefully, They're all pieces of paper, possibly musical notes, and they're all in different stages of being burned. She's keeping too many things up in the air at once, and some of them need to be dropped, so burdens need to be released. Your next card, the Seven of Earth, the Gardener's card. Now, I know that this beautiful wood sprite male is looking towards the fairies. But look, they are looking at one another. Seven of Earth, Seven of Pentacles is often called the Gardener's card. You've done the hard work. You can see the fruits of your labour starting to blossom. But this masculine, is looking towards this feminine. They're watching each other. I think you are understanding that you're juggling too much and you need to let some things drop. And that you've done enough, you've sown the seeds. I love that Earth is underneath Earth. That's double confirmation that you can ground this. You've done the work. Don't burn yourself out, keeping going round in the same loop, the same wheel. Listen carefully. I think your inner masculine wants you to listen carefully because you've heard the call. Or if you haven't, to listen carefully for the call. This is judgment. But in this deck, the call, it's more spiritual. It's more of a spiritual judgment rather than a human judgment. You are being asked, pile number 3, to step into this queenly energy. So your inner masculine is the King of Earth, grounded and wise. And he is reminding you that you are the Queen of Air. Look, she is a beautiful, mature woman, smiling, welcoming, not the Queen of Swords that we would expect, no swords up, but the very purest, best part of the Queen of Swords. Owl there of intuition, of wisdom. Your inner masculine, your divine masculine, is asking you to remember just who you are as a feminine. You are the Queen of Air. You are the King of Earth. You do not need to be in this fire energy. Look, rise above it all, float above it all. Remember your own suit, your own. You might very well be an air sign or an earth sign. But this fire energy is not for you. It's what I'm getting. 8 of Water. So this is your second 8. Let it go. Let it go. Turn your back on it and walk away. Walk away from those 8 cups in search of your 9th. Stop. Look, you're elevated. You're above these feathers. Stop reaching for them. You're higher than that. Yeah. Pile number 3. Your divine masculine, your inner masculine wants to remind you that you are a king and you are a queen, and to step into your power. You're not an 8 anymore. You're moving up. Look for the 9s. Look for the 9s. Pile number 3. That was your message from your own inner masculine. If you liked this reading, I hope you'll consider subscribing, sharing, liking. Please leave me a comment if you feel called. I love reading them. I am back, guys. Brightest blessings.